And I was like, what? What's up, suckers, and welcome back to Everything Courtney, here with another video. What's good? What's poppin'? What's good? Okay, I'll be trying. So lately, guys, I've been talking about how I've been very intentional with everything that I do, and I was thinking about how I've been talking to God about living a life of expectancy, and I am intentionally saying it because I am expecting to hear and see and receive from him, and how hungry I've been for an encounter with God as some of the previous times I've heard from him. So today's video is just basically me telling you guys some of the most memorable moments from hearing from God, because sometimes on this journey we can say we're praying to him and we don't know how to hear from him. And oftentimes it's not how you think, you know, like I'm sure you heard before, he doesn't speak to you in this loud voice. I don't know why I got that deep, but he don't talk to you in this super loud, deep, slow voice, my child. Like, nope. At least that's not how he talked to me. It's very calm and this loving, and it just feels like a hug. It's not scary, it's not loud, it's not angry. It always comes with this assurance, like this overwhelming feeling. I've heard from God verbally. I've heard from him through outside sources. I've received a confirming word from him through a TikTok. One thing I've always learned to pray about when talking to God is to open up my senses to him so that I am able to receive his word and anything he has to say to me through any outlet. Like, I don't want to be just limited to thinking that God will only speak to me verbally and I will only hear from him from my ear. So today, I'm going to talk to y'all about that because he has spoken to me in different ways before. Let's get into it. Now, this particular time was me hearing from him in the old-fashioned standard way of hearing. I was going through a very rough time. I was depressed. I had never been so low in my life. This is around the time when I was in California, and I had prayed to God to make me, shape me, mold me into the woman he wanted me to be. Like I said before, you have got to be careful what you pray for, because he will give it to you, and definitely not the way you expect him to. I expect him to just change my desires, but he was stripping me of the things that would cause me to still be the old version of myself. So he was stripping me from my friends. He was stripping me from people I was engaging in normal conversation with. He was stripping my passions. He was stripping my desires. He was stripping everything from me. And I felt like every time I prayed out to him, I wasn't hearing from him yet. Looking back at it, it kind of was like how, not comparing myself to Jesus, but like that moment where Jesus was like, take this cup from me, because he was so engulfed with sin that he was even disconnected from God from a moment. It felt like that, like, am this with myself? God, do you hear me talking to you? But he was really revealing all these things about myself to me that I had to deal with. He was exposing the things about me that needed to be made over, that needed to be stretched, that needed to be remolded and reshaped, and all these things that I prayed for, and I didn't realize in the time. In that process, it can be like, and I'm gonna do a whole video about that, like I said before, but it can feel as if you're in it alone. It's just a part of the process. And so anyways, I had got super down. I was like, I felt defeated. I felt like God wasn't hearing me anymore, y'all. I was like, what's going on? I was having these crazy thoughts come to my mind, and I would oftentimes go up to my roof in my apartment building and just go up there and pray and talk to God, because I had roommates and I just needed a moment of just me and him, just quietness and things like that. And so this one particular day, I had just felt like I was gonna give up, y'all. It was just like, you know what, nothing felt worth it. Life itself didn't feel worth it. And so I called my mom, and I'm like crying on the phone to her. I'm like, Mom, I just don't feel like, I don't feel like he's hearing me. I just feel so alone. I don't know what to do. And she said, Courtney, to pray about it. And I'm like, Mom, I've been praying. What you mean, lady? Do you not hear me? I've been praying. And you know, and she was like, but just do it one more time, Courtney. Just pray one more time. And it was like, everything in me was like, Mom, I know the right answer is prayer, but in this moment, I don't even know if I had it in me. But she was like, just pray. And I said, Mom, okay, I'm gonna just pray one more time. I'm gonna pray one more time. So I hung on the phone with my mom, and I just started praying. And I'm just praying and praying and praying. I'm like, God, I don't understand what's going on. I need you to say something to me. I need you to speak to me. I need a word. Praying out to God, just out loud, talking to him on this roof. And for the first time throughout that whole process, I heard him clear as day. And he said to me, you asked for this, y'all. And I was like, what? It was just so calm, and I was like, huh? What? God said, you asked for this. You asked to be shook, made over to who I wanted you to be. Y'all, when the Lord said that to me, it was all I needed. Because when they say you will get peace in the midst of a storm, I was in a crazy storm in my life. But when he said that to me, it just, all the weights that I was carrying just melted away, and I just started crying so hard, and I just started praising God, because I was like, okay, now I see. Because for the longest time I had no idea what was going on. I was utterly confused, and him just giving me that simple confirmation. He wasn't telling me that the process was over, because it definitely wasn't over. I couldn't imagine some of the stuff that was coming up next, but it wasn't over, but it made sense. And in that moment, just that instant, I had peace that surpassed all understanding, because what I was going through did not equate to how I felt. And when they say you don't look like what you've been through, in that moment I totally understood the stuff I had been saying and stuff I had been hearing, and that's exactly how I felt in that moment. And so it was just so amazing to hear from God. I mean, it was just a subtle whisper, but it was like, you asked for this, so y'all better be careful what you ask for, because let me tell you something, God gotta do it. He'll give it to you. Okay, so another time was also a whisper. Well, I had prayed to God once again, him coming through with the prayers. I prayed to him for him to reveal some things in my heart that I didn't realize were in my heart, that was a transgression against him, things that I needed to let go of. And it was some things that I was aware of, and some things that I wasn't really sure of, some things I didn't understand where they started from. And I wanted to be free. I wanted God to reveal these things. I wanted it to be out of my heart, because he looks at the heart. And I was like, God, I want my heart to be in the right posture. What's going on? Like, I know some stuff that's bothering me, but God, I don't know what this other stuff is, but I can feel it. It's heavy. And so I've been praying this. And I was at my parents' house one time. I was visiting them, and I'm just like, what is going on? I'm just praying, I'm praying. And I was outside talking to my brother, and I was like, you know what? I need to just go pray. So I went on our back deck, and I just started praying, talking to God. And I can't remember exactly what scripture I had read, but I was just meditating on it. And I'm like talking to God, like, God, I just need a word from you. It was like a scene out of a movie. I remember just like hearing the wind kind of blowing. My eyes were closed, and I'm just like focusing. And I think I had my music going for a little bit. And then I remember some things coming to my mind, things that I was aware of, and some stuff that I didn't realize I was still holding on to. Not like in a grudge way, but just things that I was still carrying. And honestly, it could have been the beginning of a stronghold, and I wasn't aware of it, because I was still carrying it. I mean, if you're carrying it, it has the opportunity to transform into these things. And so I remember some stuff coming to my mind that I wasn't even thinking about before. And then as everything came to my mind, I'm like, whoa, what? Like, huh, that's bothering me, or that's affecting me. And things from my childhood that I had suppressed, things that I didn't really think bothered me, were bothering me. I guess I was just suppressing it all. And like I said, some things I was aware of, and things I needed to be healed from. And as all these things are coming to my mind, literally I heard God say, now let it go. I was like, what? Once again, the moment he said it, it was this peace that came over me. The tears just flew down my face, and I'm just sitting there just like crying out to God, like, thank you, because I needed this release. And immediately, once again, I felt like my burdens were being bared at his feet. Like I was surrendering whatever it was that was in my heart that was bothering me. And it was crazy, because, you know, if somebody would have rolled by, seen me out there just staring with my head in the sky, looking up with tears rolling down my eyes, you might have thought I was a little crazy. But let me tell you something. It was me and God. We was here. We was me and him. Me, wait, me, him, wait, me, him. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. It was a crazy moment, because I needed it. It was everything I had been praying for, and it was like one of those turnaround things. You know, it was like I had been thinking about these things, but the moment I opened up my mouth and asked for it, God gave it to me. And it was like, whoa, wait a minute. I got your attention. I got your attention. You know, and so within a couple of minutes, he was speaking to me, because I was so sincere and I had so much faith that he would reveal it to me. And that's exactly what God did. And God is just so amazing. Those are just two of the instances. I'm gonna do another video of 2 other times God did this to me, and it was just mind-blowing, life transforming. And I wanted to talk about this because I wanted to encourage someone who may be waiting on a word from God, and that your waiting isn't in vain. And honestly, your time frame won't be the same every time, because the first incident I told you about, that went on for a couple months. And those were some very hard, dark, deep moments. But I stayed before God. I stayed in my word, and I stayed trusting that he would do what he promised me he would do. And that would be to give me a word. And y'all, and God came through like he always do. Hey, God came through like he always do. And he gave me that word, and I was able to go forward, and I made it. And the second incident I told you about came faster. And you know, sometimes I've heard people say that you can hear from him faster the more you're in a relationship with him. Like, you know, you expect things quicker from people you're closer with. And thinking about it in that aspect, where I was for the first incident was the beginning of my walk with him, which is why I prayed that I wanted to be this new being, and Lord, transform me. God, make me over again. And boy, did he. The process was right. Boy, did he. And then around the time of the second incident, I had already went through all of that, and these are some things that I just know I needed to deal with. So he's an on-time God, right? When you may think you on the brink of losing it, God will show up and show out. So fret not, my people, fret not, children of God. Yes, his promises, he will still see them through. And I just want to encourage you to stand firm on his word, to not give up. Don't let your situation look greater than your God. Your situation is not greater than the God we serve. He is able to do exceedingly and abundantly above all we ever ask or think. I mean, the way he did things, I couldn't have thought it. And so just, I really wanted to encourage somebody. So you just keep waiting, child, it's coming. Because I'm still waiting on one. That's why I didn't talk about it in the video this time, because he hasn't completely done it, and I'm not going to talk about it too early. I want God to go ahead and come on and show out with that too. So I pray this video help someone who may be in the season of waiting, and to know that he hears you. The Bible tells us he hears us, and because he hears you, you will get what you ask from him. Okay, you have gone to his throne graciously, boldly. He's gonna show up and show out. So I love you guys. Stay encouraged, be safe, and don't forget, Black Lives Matter, baby. Bye. See you in a second, suckers.